Okay, we're going to do something a little different today. We are in the hacienda. This, by the way, is called ox heart or beef heart. It is a heart, and it is, this right here honestly is really good meat. Just all it has is an outer layer of fat. I'm just cutting that off, and there's no marbling in it at all. This is just the best stew beef. Make a roast, everything with. Anyways, I'm going to be cutting the fat off. I'm going to be cubing it up. We're marinating in some Lynn Perrin Worcestershire and some Crystal's hot sauce overnight. And then I'm going to be making a stew. I'm going to be adding some bay leaves. Remember the bay leaves from earlier? That's your bay leaves. And a few other spices and seasonings. And we're going to throw in sweet potato, regular potatoes. And we'll cut up a Seminole pumpkin, which would be right here. This is an indigenous, there we are, indigenous Seminole pumpkin. And we're cutting up some of that and throwing it in with it. And so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to start doing a little bit of cutting here. Y'all see me talking about stuff. You don't get as much opportunity to see me doing. So we're going to cut some of this off and keep this into a video that is proper length for YouTube. I'm going to be shutting it off and turn it back on again. So anyways, but you see how the fat is. Just take some of that off. Cut down on, because that's all stuff we really don't so much want in our diet. And I'll be honest with you, when it comes to heart, you don't need it. This stuff has got so much flavor. It has good beefy flavor. You just wouldn't believe it. It is unbelievable. Good stuff. Anyways. Okay, we got most of our fat off. And what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting it into chunks. Now back during the Revolution, Washington was reported to be quite a fan. A lot of folks were quite a fan of roast ox heart and ox heart stew. Just cut in nice big chunks like this. And that's one place where we originally got the idea of doing this. Also, when I was up in Kentucky, every time I got a deer, first thing I ate that night was the heart. I'd cut the chambers out into steaks and I'd cook them up, and then I started cutting them up into chunking up, making the stews and such. And it is without doubt, I've come to the conclusion, one of the best meats I've ever had, and I've had quite a bit. Different forms of red meat, different critters. I'd say the best red meat I've ever eaten was beaver, and I do mean the critter. That meat's so red, it's purple. It's just really fantastic. Get back to the beef heart though, ox heart. Good period meat. The flavor and the texture is unbelievable. It is tender. It'd make a backstrap look like a piece of, tastes like a piece of beef jerky. But this will cook up nicely. See how lean that is? There's almost no fat whatsoever in that. It is just, oh my goodness, it is fantastic. Anyways, I'm going to cube this up and get ready to go into the bag. And we'll marinate it. Let it marinate overnight. And that will really go even further. As good as it is by itself, the marinade really does nicely in that. A lot of y'all might think, well, shoot, why is he in the kitchen cooking? Well, because it's a rainy, nasty day out there, and just not in for going out there and getting soaked up for no good reason. Anyways, also, as far as the cooking bit goes, guys, if you're out in the woods and you're hunting, you need to know how to cook what you're killing. You know how to cook what you're bringing home in different dishes. And this is a jam-up dish. So, anyways, I'll let y'all peek when we get into the marinating. Okay, got it all cubed up. We are, see here, bring that up a little bit. There you go. All this is going into the bag. Also, another thing that's neat about beef heart, the stores, people haven't caught on to it, and everyone still thinks, it's an organ. It's not an organ. It's a steak, just like any other part of the critter. But it's the best steak, and the price of it is dirt cheap, because not that many people realize how good heart actually is. And it, oh my goodness! So it's like this steak here. This was only half heart, and it was like $3 and change. So it was really good. Okay, now we're gonna wash my hands up real quick so I can handle these things. Okay, what we'll do here, crystals. Not a ton of it, just a bit. Now the thing about the crystals is it doesn't actually make the meat hot when you add it with the Worcestershire. This is something I picked up with smoking venison, and I found it worked really good. Let's just do it like this. I found it worked really good with smoking goat as well. Okay, pour in little crystals, little Worcestershire. Now, take this, zip it up, get all the air out of that I can. Absolutely every bit of air out, because I want this stuff to marinate well. I don't want it sitting in there. Okay. Zip that up. I'm just going to let that sit in the icebox overnight. It just adds a little extra flavor, makes it even that much nicer. One of the best meats I've ever found to work with, and that's heart. Whether it be venison heart, ox heart, like we have here, hell, hog heart, any large game heart. Even when I do squirrel and rabbit, I'll take the heart, throw it in there when I'm frying up and stuff like that, making soups and stews. Anyways, now for the next part. Okay, it has been about 24 hours since we put the meat in to marinate. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to throw this in the meat and with some flour and give it a chance to get a little coating of flour on it. We want to wind up browning it at the bottom of this here Dutch oven. You can also do it in a large skillet, I guess. Now, this little trick with the Worcestershire sauce, this is just something that I picked up. I use it on all my red meat. Well, not all, pretty much most of all of it. You know, whenever I'm smoking or stewing, or if I got a nice steak, I'll make it a little extra nice. It's just something I do. And it seems to work out pretty good. Don't mind the music in the background. I decided to put in a Russian folk music tape. Yeah, I like folk music, what can I say? All different countries. Okay. Now, we'll get this oil starting to go. We'll give this a light coating. Kind of like when you do shake and bake. By the way, shake and bake didn't invent this. We've been doing this in the South, flour and meat for since there's been bags and flour and meat. Okay, we're going to let this heat up a little bit, then we'll throw that in. While we're waiting on that stuff to get hot, go ahead and start cutting up some of this vegetation. Take the onions, just cut the ends off. You don't want that. And that outer layer of reddish skin, you're not going to want that either, because that just don't taste too good, chew up too good, or any rest of that. It's kind of like the wrapper on the bubble gum. You don't want to eat the wrapper on the bubble gum. Okay. Now, take this, right in half. Chop it up. You can go thin, you can go thick. I'm kind of on the medium side of cutting these things up. Not too bad considering I ain't a chef. Okay. There we go with that. Now, this is one neat part of my my stews. Is I only put in a small part of the potato it calls for. I put in a lot of sweet potato, and with the skin on. I'll tell you what, sweet potato, most of it will dissipate into the water, but you know what? It will, by golly, kick the flavor up numerous notches. Sounds like our oil's there. So let's go ahead and throw our meat in. Start getting that browned up. Turn that heat down a little bit. Throw our heart meat in there. I probably got a bit more meat in there than I do for the oil, but it'll work out. When you get done with this particular recipe, I promise you, you'll have a meal that is worthy. I don't know about a king, but definitely for a president. Washington tended to like it. All right. Grab a cooking spoon. Work this around a little bit. Get that back up there a little bit. I'm going to do something that you shouldn't do. At least everyone tells me you should do it. Add a little bit more oil in there. Just help that meat out. Okay, get back to these taters. Cut these up. Kind of like the larger chunks, because that way I don't have all of it dissipate into the water. But the sweet potato will go through the meat and add just that much more flavor. It kind of thickens up the stew a little bit too. And when you got a hunk of potato, all of it's going to be the old boring white potato. Some of it will be sweet potato. What a great way to go. Okay, got that cut up. All right, we also got carrots, and I'm also going to cut up a pumpkin, and we'll throw half this pumpkin in. That's a Seminole pumpkin, indigenous to Florida. And we got our bay leaves. All right, I want to turn the camera off now, because I don't think that you're going to want to sit here and watch me chop all this stuff up. I'll turn it back on when we get to the point where you want to see. Okay, we're going to take some of these bay leaves, break them off, just for a little added flavor to the pot. I'm going to go with 4. Like I said, typical American overdo everything. All right, throw them on in. I don't think we're going to have room for that pumpkin in this. Unfortunately, I have overdone, as usual, how much stuff I put in, because a lot of times when I'm cooking, I generally don't always follow a set recipe in a book, though I do sometimes. Okay, so I'll let you know when this is cooked. One more thing I forgot. Starting to come up to boil, so like I said, we stir it a little bit, and then we'll cover it up, set it to a simmer, probably around 2.5 or 3 on your stove, and kick back, relax, and let this cook real slow for about 2 hours, and we'll see how she turns out. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Let's do a little taste here. little bit of meat, a little gravy. It's hot. One thing I never quite learned how to do was cook cold, but if one of y'all figured it out, let me know. Mm. Mm. Honey hush. Tell you what, anyone turning their nose up at this is a moron. Like I said before, beef heart, venison heart, all the great meat. There's a lot of food that we as Americans throw out in this culture, and it's wasteful, extremely wasteful, and like our culture has become. There's a lot of different videos on cooking. There's a lot of videos on cooking things that are outside the normal comfort zone of most Americans, and we need to start learning, start going back to the older ways of cooking. There's a lot of food out there that is a lot healthier for you, nutritious, and with a lot better flavor. You can't get this in a restaurant. You can't get this frozen in the grocery store or processed or anything like that. You got to make it. And tell you make food at home, it's a beautiful thing. You make this for the wife, she'll be severely impressed. You make it for the girlfriend, she'll be impressed. That's about it. Anyways, this is Keith Stanball, the School of Woodlore and Common Sense. And I hope you enjoyed the first of my, well, it's not the first of my cooking videos, but because no coffee, but yeah, that ain't really cooking. But I hope you enjoyed this. And check us out on Facebook. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.